Hello, my name is Suzanne Wagner, and these are the SAP Ariba News. So today I would like to give you a compromised overview of the Q4 2017 release. So what was coming last month? We had quite a lot of features, 23 for network, 6 for procurement, 17 for supplier management, and 13 for sourcing. Only in network we had one feature that is impacting all the users. It is about the GST implementation for India. For all the other modules, we have features that are either optional or without impact. Today I will concentrate on procurement, supplier management, and sourcing. So let's get started with procurement and invoicing. You are now able to copy and save requisition line items also in guided buying. This feature is activated by default. You are able to allow your requesters to create requisitions without Supplier for Ariba buying and buying and invoicing. To get this feature, you need to activate this parameter named here. You are now able also to extract data from requisitions, orders, receipts, invoices, and reconciliations. This reporting API is available for users that are registered on the developer portal and have a valid subscription. It can help you to get a better compromised overview of your reporting KPIs, especially if you use multiple instances for procurement processes. For invoicing, you're now able to have a rejection reason code when you reject an invoice during an approval process. This feature also needs to be activated, so you see the parameter named here. For users of Ariba Invoice Management, you're also now able to have a goods receipt-based invoice verification. So your invoice is then verified against your ship notice or your receipt. You have here different parameters that needs to be activated. Also for invoicing, you get an API additionally that allows you to approve your invoices externally in another system besides Ariba. That can be helpful if you already are using an invoice management process somewhere else and you need to, or you would like to use that for your approvals. To facilitate this API, you need also to be registered again on the developer portal and have a valid subscription. For all that are not aware, this approval API is also available for requisition process. So for supplier management, I think most of the users will like the features that are now coming with the last release. You can save your search in supplier management and repeat this search again and again. And you can export your search results for further analytics or display. In search, you are now able to also use the IID to search for your category, region, or business unit. Before, you were only able to search by name, and especially in categories sometimes know the code, but not exactly the name. So it helps you to get more search usability. All the features named here are activated by default and available for SIPM, the new architecture, and SLP. For questionnaires design, you're now able to reference questions in the questionnaires. So you map values of one question to another question. So this helps you to get more flexibility in the creation of your questionnaires and get better questionnaire quality. That is activated also by default. For users that want to mask sensitive data, for example, bank information in the supplier profile, you're also now able to do that. So you can mask the sensitive data, and this data will then not be visible to all the users, just to the administrators or allowed users. Also in supplier management, we get a reporting API that allows you to extract the data from registration, qualification, and preferred processes. Also here, you need to be registered on the developer portal and have a valid subscription to facilitate this API. For supplier management, we get quite a lot of process enhancements. So all that are waiting for self-registration, you're now able to get that. You provide an URL to suppliers, for example, on your procurement homepage, that allows your supplier to register by themselves. This feature needs to be activated. So for missing approvers, you are now in the future able to add a missing approver in the 360-degree profile. So on the UI, so there you get more also usability in the approval process. And now this feature is also long missing, and we are waiting for that you are able to track and display the status of the email notifications sent to the suppliers. So I heard many times the feedback, I have not received your invitation for registration. So this now helps you to track the emails in a better way. Also, this feature needs to be activated, and you have to ask to enable this feature named here. For all the users that are already familiar with the metrics, you know what I'm telling you when I say, okay, you're now able to use a third parameter in the metrics. For all the others, so in the qualification and preferred processes, you are able to use a matrix as a basic. In this matrix, you have region and category already, and now you can use business unit or department as a dimension for your qualification and preferred status. This also needs to be activated. If you would like to use this feature, please keep in mind that you have to work on your questionnaires and the processes that are based on this matrix. So if suppliers update their profile in the future, so they go into their network account, go to the registration questionnaire and rework the data, for example, they enter a new address or a new bank information, this change will be reflected in your registration and qualification processes in the future. So you're now able to see what was in your previous version and what is in the new version. I like this feature because it gives you also more visibility about the changes. For users that are using sourcing and supplier management and network, the link between the three modules is improved by automating the linking between the different IDs that are used for SLP, sourcing, and Ariba network. To get it, you have to activate multiple parameters, one for the general activation. And if you would like to have a supplier-based activation, you can also do it here with this parameter named here. So what else? You're now able to flag suppliers as inactive. So this supplier is then not longer visible in the SLP application. It can help you, for example, if you had a supplier previously that was not accepting your conditions or something like that, but you see the data already in SLP to inactivate this supplier that you never will do business with. Also, what is now coming, you can now reflect the supplier blocking, unblocking, and flag them for deletion and exchange this information also with the ERP system. So that gives you more overall process flow between the systems. In the interface, there is also a little change for the suppliers to make the registration completion process easier for the suppliers on the network. For users that are more related to SIPM, or have SIPM as a module implemented, you're able to use the performance management now from SIPM in the new architecture in SAP. So you have now access to classic projects. Please keep in mind that a new architecture and a new design for SAP is expected for this year. So this usage of the old makes sense if you're already using this in your old environment, for example. Yeah. So keep that in mind if you decide for activating or using this feature. So now you're also able to migrate suppliers, users, and registration questionnaires to the new architecture. So from your old architecture to the unified vendor model. Please also talk here to the SAP Ariba guys to help you out with this migration. Let's talk about sourcing. In sourcing, you're now able to map ERP terms to Ariba terms, so conditions and terms, that allows you a harmonization of the different tools. Now you also see the feedback better if you award a sourcing event in Ariba and post this data to the ERP system. It now creates more log information for you, so you see what ERP PO was created, what outline agreement was created, and so on. So it gives you more visibility of the process flow. I like that. It's now supported to create also requisitions out of the sourcing event, and you can also now limit the output integration by a validity period. To get it, multiple parameters need to be activated. You see them here below. What is also requested by users that are starting the sourcing process in ERP RFQs, that they want to support the long text descriptions that are in the ERP sent to Ariba, so that they are coming with and are displayed in the right way. That can now be supported, and you have to ask the customer support to get this feature. For the target value of value contracts or value outline agreements, this is now mapped by default to the baseline spend in Ariba. So this field or value is now filled by default. From a functionality perspective, we have commodity and region link. So you can now write the item, commodities, and region values to the sourcing header fields. So in the future, it was not like that, so that you always had to enter at the sourcing header the information again. You can now do that and link that together. Also here we have multiple parameters to enable these features. You can base the region information in the material master on, or let's say you can determine the region information on the material master plant information. So therefore you have to create on the one hand a mapping table that maps your plant to a region, and this information then is used to auto-populate the region out of this information. For all users that use auction, you can now do also Japanese auction. To enable that, you have to contact your customer support. For direct material feature, you are now able to support Croatian, Bulgarian, and Slovakian on the user interface, so additional languages are coming. In the line item information, you can now add a clickable URL, for example, for a document or something like that. And you can use a SOAP-based web service to determine the documents that are related to this URL. For price acceptance, if you have this process, you can send now notifications for pricing conditions, and the text for these notifications can be customized. To get it, you need to contact your customer support. Also, what is now possible that you are able to assign an estimated price to a part without an approved manufacturer list. So if you don't use AML, you're now able to get at least an estimated price that is then used for your calculation and so on. To get this feature, you need to contact your customer support. Also, that is, I think, something that many users will like. You're now able to determine the items that have no lead time and enter an estimated lead time there. And this estimated lead time is then used in your sourcing events as a value. So that is all for the last feature release of 2017. My name is Susanne Wagner. I'm CEO and founder of Passionate Digital. If you would like to know more, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Xing, or other social media.